I just got back from watching Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So let's talk about it. This is going to be a spoiler free review, but I understand if you're someone who likes to go into movies almost blind. I'm sometimes like that. If that's you, feel free to click away. This video will still be here when you're done watching the movie, so just come back when you're done. As I've said, this is going to be spoiler free. You're not going to have your movie experience ruined if you watch this review. So, with that out of the way, let's get into this film. Black Panther Wakanda Forever was a film I was really excited for when it was announced. A common theme with a lot of the films in Phase 4. The closer I got, the more nervous I was. One, because of what Phase 4 has been. It's been fairly disappointing, and this is the last film in Phase 4. So I was kind of nervous. I almost went into the theater going, okay, let's get this over with so we can go into Phase 5. And then I was also nervous because I was in the field of they should have recast T'Challa. I feel like at this phase of the MCU, it would be better if Black Panther was T'Challa. It's just, with the world building and all that he does in the comics, I thought it would be better. But after watching this film, I have to say all my worries and concerns about it being a part of Phase 4 and everything going on with the Black Panther is completely gone. Ryan Coogler, I always forget how great a director he is. He had one of the hardest challenges I think you could ever possibly give a director in handling Chadwick Boseman's death. Ryan Coogler did a phenomenal job at both respecting Chadwick Boseman and giving him a proper send-off, while also advancing the story of Black Panther, of Shuri, of the Dora Milaje, of all these characters we've come to love, M'Baku, Nakia, all these characters. He did a phenomenal job. And I love what he did with Lynetta Wright's Shuri's story arc throughout the film. Her performance is incredible. And speaking of good performances, Angelina Bassett's performance within this film is incredible. She does so well in this film. It felt a lot in the first Black Panther that she was sidelined a lot. You don't get that here. She is front and center, and she delivers every time she's on the screen. And of course, my favorite characters from Black Panther, besides T'Challa, M'Baku, and Nakia, they're kind of sidelined here, but they're great as always. One of my biggest concerns, besides the handling of the Black Panther going into this film, was Namor. I was so nervous for Namor. And I wasn't nervous for Namor until I saw Thor: Love and Thunder. How they butchered the character of Gore. I was really nervous for this villain, but Ryan Coogler hits it out of the park yet again with another amazing villain. Namor is great. The actor does an amazing job. I don't remember his name. That's the only reason I'm not saying it. He does an incredible job. I love how they've adapted him from the comics. I thought it was pretty accurate, but with a couple changes, and that predominantly being that Atlantis and all the people involved are really inspired by the Mayan Aztec culture. And I didn't know how I felt about this before going into the film. I really wished they would have just stuck with the Atlantis we had in the comics. I get kind of why Ryan decided to go the other route. Like, we don't want to just be another Atlantis story. But at the same time, I feel like this may cause problems in the future. But in the film, this interpretation of Atlantis goes well. It doesn't hold down the story at all. In fact, it brings beautiful set pieces. And I enjoyed it. I don't know how I feel about it in the future of the MCU and the world building aspect and how it interacts in other people's stories. But I think for this film, it worked incredibly well. And again, the visuals were stunning. And the visuals throughout this film are absolutely stunning. The cinematography and the direction and the shots are amazing. And the soundtrack, as always in Black Panther films, was incredible. Fight scenes in this film are stunning. I feel like the Black Panther franchise has become known, where it's almost expected that they have great action sequence. You get more of that here. The Dora Milaje fights are all well done. I thought everything between Atlantis and Wakanda, those battles were very good. I'm always happy to see good fight scenes, and we get a lot of that here. Another major concern or worry I had going into this film was how they would handle and introduce Riri Williams, aka Ironheart. I was worried that they were just going to make her another Tony Stark. I'm happy to say that I really enjoyed her character in this film. I think they introduced her well, that they utilize her well in the story. It doesn't feel like they're just setting her up for her own spin-off. She actually impacts and affects the story. And I thought the actress, I forgot her name, who plays Riri, does a really good job at making her likable and charismatic and an interesting character. Now, after watching this film, I still don't think that she should have her own solo series, but at the same time, now I'm like, oh, I would like to know more about her. And I do enjoy her character. So I'm less not excited for the series. I don't know if that wording makes sense, but great job with the Ironheart side of it. I would say my only complaints with this film is that sometimes it's a tad long. The runtime is 2:41, 2 hours and 41 minutes. And really it's like 2 hours 30 minutes with credits. But the film does go long a couple times. And I get why it was so long. And I think you will too after watching it. But I feel like a couple scenes could have been cut. But does it drag down the film? No, it just drags it on. Also, I thought the third act was kind of underwhelming. Like, it's still a solid third act. In regards to the rest of the film, it doesn't live up to the hype that I thought I may have placed it in my head. It still does well, it does everything it needs to do, but I think in terms of spectacle, actual sequences, I think it falls short a couple times. Overall, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is a fantastic film. I always enjoy returning to Wakanda and seeing what the characters are up to there. Ryan Coogler does an amazing job at both respecting the legacy of Chadwick Boseman as well as advancing the story of Black Panther and Shuri and the rest of Wakanda. He introduces a great new villain in Namor, who I actually understand his motives, understand his viewpoints, but never agree with his actions. Overall, it's an amazing film, and you should definitely go watch it if you've had any concerns. One last thing, there is one post-credit scene. It's a mid-credit scene, not a post-credit scene. It happens right in the middle of the credits. You should stay for that. Please stay for that post-credit scene. But then after that, you can leave the theater. There's nothing else after that. Don't waste the 8 minutes it takes to get through credits just for the Marvel logo at the end. But if that's what you look forward to, hey, sit in the theater for 8 minutes. That's about it for me. In terms of comments, please keep them spoiler-free. Please talk about the video, critique me, talk about the movie, did you like it, all that stuff, but keep it spoiler-free. Don't say anything you wouldn't want other people to say to you before you watch a film. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you guys. Have an absolutely fantastic day. And until the next time, peace out, bro skillets.